Wait, let's set the mood up in here. Okay. I'm feeling this one. It has been approximately 8-9 months since I went to Vipassana as a student, which I will link up here, this video. For those of you that don't know what Vipassana is, I would highly recommend you watch that video first. And now I'm gonna go back as a server. This couldn't have happened at a better time because my brain is like, there's a lot that's happened ever since I went to Vipassana. And that's probably because Vipassana did something and it changed up my life. But anyways, I'll get more into that later. For today's video, we're going to be doing our hair care. I haven't meditated properly in a minute. I always do this thing where I start meditating and then I do it for a couple weeks and then I fall off. And I'm not actually sure why that happens. I like stop caring, and then as soon as my life is spiraling down really hardcore, I like remember, oh yeah, I can meditate. There's a solution to these existential thoughts. Okay, this part I actually need to concentrate because I'm really supposed to put like 1 drop of this in here. I'm a strong believer that the whole world should meditate. Why is this? What happens when you meditate is that you're just clearing your brain out of all the gunk that's been put into it. It's just a lot of noise in our heads all the time. Yap, 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 yap. Like fucking just shut the fuck up, right? Meditation, at least for me, puts me in a state of calmness. I'm able to actually have space between what the event is and my reaction to it. And most times in life, our reaction is what dictates the quality of our life. You lose a friend. So losing the friend can be either horrible, my life is ruined, or you know what? It is what it is. This person's probably not meant to be in my life and they're gone so that I can make space for something else that's meant for me. You see what I mean? We are energy in a human body. We're on this earth, in this realm right now, experiencing life because our souls decided to come here. Yes, you did. And I know this sounds crazy because you're probably like, why would I ever decide to come here? I don't know. I ask myself that every single day. God damn it. Meditation brings you back to your energy. This doesn't mean that I'm saying nothing really matters. We're gonna die one day anyways, blah, blah, blah. No, we're here right the fuck now to challenge ourselves and to learn something. So that doesn't mean we can just sit on our ass. Why do I think like this, you ask? Growing up, I was exposed a lot to spirituality because my mom, my grandpa kind of is a little bit more spiritual. You know what I'm saying? They talked about these things growing up, but that didn't mean that my brain understood it. I thought this shit was cringy. It wasn't until maybe 2 years ago that I actually had my spiritual awakening. Going back to Vipassana and being a server, which is just gonna be me volunteering and meditating in between with no usage of phone, it's gonna be a lot. And I'm actually excited to go back because it's such a good reset. My soul needs to like go get a break from society every now and then. And this is a great way of doing that. Some things that I am scared for. Number 1, I mentioned that I haven't meditated in a while. So I know it's gonna be kind of hard to like get back into it again for like 12 hours a day. Probably not that much because I'm serving, but maybe like 7 hours a day. Number 2, I have some trauma. I have trauma. Yeah, I got some trauma. Everyone has trauma. There's nothing new about that. To a certain extent, if you're living, you're gonna have trauma because of family shit or bullying. And if you don't, great. What meditation in general does, especially Vipassana, is it's almost like you're alone with your thoughts and there's a lot of thoughts that come up that you maybe have been suppressing. If you're trying to reach the point of enlightenment, you gotta self-reflect on a lot of things. Here's a story. There was this guy, and Adba told me this story, when he was volunteering last time, he said he was with the server who came back to volunteer, and the first time the server had done Vipassana, nothing really happened. He was okay. He felt genuinely like a little bit happier and more clear. But then he came back the second time and it goes deeper. He started bawling his eyes out and he had a hysterical breakdown. Now, I'm not saying that's gonna happen for me, but I'm just trying to say that maybe this means I will end up going a little bit deeper in my practice, because even the area that you're in, everyone around you is meditating, and the whole time, the whole facility is meant for meditation. So the energy is really, really good. Sometimes when you're surrounded by good energy, what your soul needs, it's getting fed from this really good energy. So sometimes your soul needs to like break through. You know, I'm kind of hoping that actually happens because I don't want that shit to be stored in my organs for the rest of my life or in my brain somewhere. I want to be able to heal from things. Now I'm almost done my hair. I'm shedding hair everywhere. Better fix this. You better fix this too. Now did I shave my armpits? Oh man, this thing? Now I understand dogs. Anyways, let's go pack for Vipassana. Hey guys, at the moment it looks like I have the whole room to myself. Now I have to meditate for an hour and then give my phone to the manager. So this is goodbye for now. So I'm back. I have tried to film this video 3 times today, and each time I try to film, something happens. It's actually a miracle that I'm sitting here right now filming this video. For a while there, I thought I wasn't supposed to film this video because I'm very superstitious when it comes to things like that, and I'm like, oh, is this the universe's way of telling me not to record this video? But then I'm like, why would the universe tell me not to record a video like this? It's actually gonna be really good for everyone. So I wrote this shit down because my brain's really flustered right now. I'm just gonna grab my notebook. Also, have you guys noticed the vibe of this video so far? It's literally just been one bright light. It makes it look really weird. My experience at Vipassana as a server going back for the first time. Number 1, my meditation practice got deeper. It's something about the energy of like going back to a place where there's so many people meditating together that you don't get anywhere else. And for me, I felt like compared to the first time when I first learned about Vipassana, which was the 10-day course, I definitely was able to sink in much deeper to my meditation practice. Well, what does this mean? I was able to feel the sensations on my body in a totally different level. At one point, I actually felt my entire body being like a little light, hazy feeling everywhere. It was almost like my body wasn't there, like tapping everywhere on your body, and you don't actually like know where your hands are. You don't feel your legs, your feet. Never really happened to me before. This is not a sign of like being good or bad, because meditation can look different for everyone, but for me that it felt like I was sinking in deeper into my body. This point also goes into the second point. I felt very good volunteering and helping others. I think the reason my meditation practice actually was much better coming back as a server is because, well, number 1, the obvious one, I already know the techniques, but also number 2, I'm there to volunteer and help the other students. It's almost like you're volunteering your time and you're doing something good for other people, so in return the universe helps you out. And this makes sense, right? Like you do something good for someone, you open the door for them, and then suddenly 2 hours later someone does something really nice for you. What goes around comes around. Another thing is also when you're serving, you actually are really busy, constantly like either washing dishes or cut vegetables and like cook, and everyone has something that they have to do. You're trying to do this in a timely manner because there's a very strict schedule that you follow. Naturally you're tired, so when you go meditate, maybe the body's even like, oh, I got a break. Therefore, you actually feel good sitting down to meditate. So it's easier for your brain to sink into meditation. And as a server, you have less hours to meditate. There are these periods of strong determination, and don't worry, I'll explain the entire schedule accurately at the end of the video. During those strong sits, I was able to actually do it, whereas before it was really hard when I was first a student. There is a method to how everything works. The third thing that was amazing about going back to Vipassana as a server is the mental reset. We all are humans on the planet. We have work, we have responsibilities. There are things that happen that are great, and then there are things that happen that really drag our energy down, and it's fine because this is part of life, ups and downs. So when you go to Vipassana, it is such a good mental reset because you don't have your phone, you have access to no one on the external world, and you're literally just there focusing on yourself. Number 4, I met the coolest people. This was unintentional, by the way. You're going there for the intention of serving. You're not going there for the intention of meeting people. In the kitchen, I actually ended up meeting so many people that inspired me, and you don't meet people for no reason. You meet everyone in your life for whatever reason, whether you understand it or not. I met some really cool people that had all different walks of life. There's really no other time I would meet people like this. Like, think about it. In your life, you're, with your family and with the same friends, and the only other time you can potentially meet new people is if you actually put yourself in a situation where you're going to meet different people. But for most people, you work, so you go to the same area of work, you meet the same people, the people that your people know are like the same types of people. Talking to different people with different walks of life is it exposes your mind to the different ways that people live their life, the different types of people, the different mindsets, different perspectives. It is so eye-opening. I hope I taught them something in return as well, but honestly, I'm a pretty quiet person. So now I wanted to talk about the actual schedule. Servers are actually allowed to sleep in until like 5:30. Sounds so funny that I'm saying like sleep in till like 5:30. That's not sleeping in. I know this, okay? Then we have to be in the kitchen at like 6, and then 6 to 7:30 is when we're preparing for breakfast the whole time and doing dishes from like the night before or whatever else. So then breakfast is served from like, I would think like 7 to 8:30ish, and then after that there is 1 hour of determined sitting. That's where everyone, students and servers, go into the hall and you just sit and meditate for like an hour. Then after that, we come back to the kitchen, finish up the dishes from breakfast, then we make food for lunch. There's like completely different recipes. They're so good, by the way. Like the vegetarian food there slaps. Then after that, from like 12:30 to like 1 or something like that, 1:15, we're there to clean up the dishes and clean up the kitchen, and then we're actually allowed to go rest from like 1 to like 2:30 in our room. And this was the time that I passed out like a baby. From 2:30 to 3:30 is again the second hour of strong determined sitting. From like 3:30 to 5, we're preparing for tea time and fruits time, which is like the evening snack that we provide for the students. students. And there's a third sitting from 6:30 to 7:30. And then after that is a 1-hour discourse from Gugzz, who is the teacher of Vipassana. He teaches through the video. Those are my favorite. I learned so much from them. It was so nice to be there and just like listen to him talk. Oh my gosh. After the discourse, students, you guys are done, but servers do something new. We do the technique of Metta, just sending out love. This was something really new that I didn't actually know I could ever feel. Metta essentially is just a way of praying for the world and spreading your good energy to other people, whoever it is that you are thinking about. You must be thinking, how the hell do you do this? I also thought the same thing. I didn't understand what that was until I felt it. There's this love that comes from a very internal place in our hearts. We have been kind of desensitized, so we don't actually feel it for humanity or in general. I was able to this time sink into it and actually spread love. If I were to describe this feeling, it's warmth, a fuzziness, and I literally, for the first time ever, visualize this as like light beams coming out of me and just dispersing into the universe, going wherever I prayed for them to go. And if it was just general Earth, then I trust that those beams are just gonna go and affect Mother Earth. And I know this stuff might sound very confusing and vague. I'm a very practical person, and I still am. That side of me is always there. Just understand there's a lot of things that your rational side of your brain might not understand it, but it doesn't mean it's not real. I feel like the more I'm exploring my spiritual self and the spiritual journey and different meditation techniques, the more I'm realizing that I can actually feel certain vibrations and energy and things that my brain cannot rationalize, nor does the brain ever need to rationalize, honestly. When you feel something deep in your heart like love, you don't just think, where's it coming from? Why is it here? How does this make any sense? You just feel. We don't let ourselves just feel without thinking too deeply about it. We're overthinkers. So anyways, that is my experience with Vipassana. It was fantastic. Actually, I'm gonna go sit down right here and meditate for another hour because it's my nighttime time to meditate. So I love you guys. See you next video.